to the NFC East. Another team with a situation. That's Jayden Daniels, Colin. This guy had such a good rookie season, capturing all the awards. They got to the NFC title game. Well, entering year 2, his tight end, Zach Ertz, is confident that Daniels will continue to progress and impress his teammates.
He has such high confidence in himself because he wants to be so great that it really resonates with the rest of the guys out there on the field and on the team with them. So, yeah, from the outside looking in, you could say he had a phenomenal year, but in the back of his mind, he's saying, I can be better this year. And it's crazy going into his second year how good he was last year, but he's going to have that. He's going to have that mentality for the next, hopefully, 15 years.
By the way, another thing the Cowboys have to think about is that Washington now has the best quarterback in the division, whether people want to admit that, and they're not paying him for 4 years. He's free for the next 4 years. So that's another thing to think about. They can load up and go get your Deebo Samuels. So that's another thing for Dallas. As you get top-heavy with CD, Dak, and Micah Parsons, they have a free quarterback who is significantly better than Dak Prescott today. So I'm telling you, Dallas it feels a lot like the Lakers pre-LeBron.
Oh.
They feel like they are increasingly, and I said it 2 years ago, I said, and it went faster than I thought. I said, never forget Mike McCarthy left them. That doesn't happen in the NFL where a coach leaves a 7 or 8 figure salary on his terms.
Okay, let's talk about the Washington Commanders. You know, I'm sure Commanders fans also love to hear how bad the Dallas Cowboys are and how much of a mess they are. But let's stick with the Commanders. You know what's really cool? I mean, like I obviously know this, and we talked about this before a lot. But like when you see it again, you know, led Washington to first NFC Championship game in 33 years. And it's just wild. It's wild. And he even had one of the coaches that was with Dallas, Dan Quinn. And I'd say it's safe to say that the Dallas Cowboys, over Dak Prescott's career, have definitely had better rosters. Not every single year, but better rosters than what the Washington Commanders had in this 1 year. And yet in this 1 year with Jayden Daniels, he's won the same number of playoff games as Dak Prescott has in his entire life, in his entire career. And I really do truly believe, I think when you really saw all these games unfold, and when you saw, you know, especially when you have hindsight now and you can kind of reflect, kind of think, let a little bit of the energy and the hype kind of go away. I actually fully do believe. I don't think this is a stretch here, especially considering where all those teams were at in the playoffs in terms of injuries, health, all that type of stuff. That if the Commanders played anyone else, they would be going to the Super Bowl. And now, I do think that Super Bowl would have been tough and would have been certainly a lot closer than if it was the Philadelphia Eagles going up against Kansas City Chiefs. Because Patrick Mahomes would have definitely been a lot more comfortable offensively. That's undeniable. And I think it's fair to say, especially considering what we saw the Eagles defense be able to disrupt that offense. And, you know, Jayden Daniels, he was not the problem for that game, but he was definitely nowhere near as comfortable as he had been in other games. Like, that much is very obvious. And it's totally understandable. The Eagles did a great job. You would get flavors of that with Spags and the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Not quite like what the Eagles were able to do. But I think it would be a legit game. It would be a legit game. And I think actually the Super Bowl would most likely come down to, unless it's just an absolute positive masterclass, more from Spags and that defense being able to just wrap up Jayden Daniels, and they just weren't good enough to make do with it, which I think is probably unlikely, honestly, considering how even just that NFC Championship game unfolded, but still possible. I think it'd be more likely that both offenses would have had success, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Washington Commanders. So I think it would have actually really been a Mahomes versus Jayden Daniels game. And I think it would have probably come down to something stupid, man. Like we've seen a lot over the years. I think it would have come down to something stupid. Did Terry McLaurin take it to the house for a touchdown? But was his toe on the line, on the sideline? Was he out of bounds there? Or did you get a 15-yard penalty for roughing the passer on Patrick Mahomes, which now gave them a new set of downs, which then led to a touchdown? It's just it would come down to just one of those things that you're just like, you had it. So you either win the game. I would think that the Washington Commanders would have either won the Super Bowl, or it would have been one of those situations where it was like, you had it. Oh my God, you had it. You would either point to a bad call, and nothing to do with the refs like that, but it was just oh my God, how do you not call pass interference, or how do you call pass interference there? Or, would have just been you can't fumble, like Zach Ertz, who's a monster beast, who I've been praising, who was on that interview. It's just Ertz, you can't drop that pass. You were in the end zone, or how'd you let it get punched out? Just one of those situations where you're just oh my God. If Zach Ertz just kind of like what happened in a way to the 49ers, where it was oh my God, Christian McCaffrey, if you don't fumble that ball, or if whoever doesn't muff that punt, 49ers most likely win. So that's where the Commanders were. And that's where the Dallas Cowboys have never been. Okay? Never been. So, it really was just the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC that just got in their way. Now, and going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, would have just been a fascinating matchup. It would have been a fascinating matchup. And so, yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things that stood out for me as well, because it's interesting to see Zach Ertz kind of talk about that Jayden Daniels wants to be so great, that it really resonates with guys. When I saw Jayden Daniels after that game, after the NFC Championship game, I saw the look on his face and how he was kind of digesting it all. And it wasn't the feeling of just man, this was just awesome. My first year in the NFL. I can't believe it. I got to the NFC Championship game. It wasn't we went up against a great team. What are you going to do? I can't expect to win a Super Bowl. And, I can't expect to be the MVP, be the rookie of the year, the MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, and any other awards that, he could have won all in year one, right? It's just, you can only ask for so much from the heavens and the universe, man. You can only ask for so much. And it would have totally been fine for him to be on the sideline, kind of smiling, just feeling okay, really, more than anything. And just kind of obviously you don't want to lose, but yeah, what are you going to do? We went up against a great team who then ended up winning the Super Bowl. Just is what it is. First year. Can't wait for next year. But it was more like what I actually saw, ironically, from Wembanyama. And I saw Wembanyama in the Olympics. And he's going up against LeBron James and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. And the dude's 19. And he's in the Olympics. And he led France to the Olympics. And he lost. And he was in tears. He was so upset. And actually Team USA had to help him and help console him. And I'm just thinking to myself, this guy's got nothing to cry about. This guy's got nothing to be angry about, sad about. It's amazing. At 19 years old, he just led his France to the championship, to the gold medal round, and he lost to LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. Three of the greatest players to ever do it, and you almost won. You almost pulled it off. There is nothing to be upset about, man. It should just be just a smile and just hey, man, that we made that a lot closer than you thought. The fact that it was even close is actually the victory. But in his heart, he believed I needed to win that for my country. I was right there. I lost. And that meant something to me. Make no mistake about it. What Zach Ertz here is not, what he's saying is not lip service. Sometimes it absolutely is. Sometimes it's generic. But a lot of times, if you've been around enough athletes, if you played enough, you can tell. Some players are about it, some players are not. It is a very, very real thing. And the reality is, especially when you talk to a lot of either older, more mature current players or retired players, they'll say the vast majority of people in the NFL, in the NBA, they are not about it. It's just they've been able to make this their life. They're able to they're able to get a ton of money. So like it's like an actual job. It really is. Marcellus Wiley talked about this, which I really love. He would talk about how, like, after a loss, he's like, when the media's there, you're like, oh man, yeah, you're all serious, and you're like, man, it's really tough to lose this game, and blah 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 blah, and it's just hard, you put in all this work, and to come up short, it's a tough pill to swallow. And the media leaves, and it's immediate smiles, and it's like, yo, where are we going at tonight? What's up? What's good? And sometimes you even see that on the field after a game. You see the players smiling and laughing, and you're just like, bro, you just lost, like, in the wild card round when people thought that you were going to win the Super Bowl, and you're already kind of smiling about it. Like, isn't this eating you up? And it's like, a lot of players, it's not. It's really not. And someone like Zach Ertz, who's all about the business, who just lives and breathes football, who, when he got traded from the Eagles to the Arizona Cardinals, I mean, like, he was getting traded to a first place team. With, at that point, they had Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona, and in Arizona with Kyler Murray, which were like the hottest coach quarterback duo at the time. They were like 8-1, 8-0, whatever it was, and he was in tears. He did not want to leave Philly. He loved everything he built there and was just no nonsense and was just 100% all in. And so to hear him kind of talk about this with Jayden Daniels and saying that it really resonates with guys, like, that to me is like, you can take that to the bank. There's plenty of times when someone another player will be like, oh yeah, man, he's all in. He's just great. He just brings such great energy. And it's like, yeah, like, you're going to say something positive. Like, actually, in this, the next segment, which I won't talk about here, it's with the Detroit Lions. Perfect example. And to me, this is lip service. I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong or inaccurate, but it's just like, OC John Moran has brilliant mind. We'll call a great offense. Like, what do you think he's going to say? I'm not so confident. He doesn't really seem that smart. And I don't know if he's going to call a great offense. It's like, And again, I'm not saying it's not accurate, but I'm just like, we'll see. We'll see. I believe he probably has a brilliant mind. I think it would be hard to say that about someone if you didn't really believe it. But we'll call it a great offense. It's just like, it just seems like a little bit of just, being a good soldier for your team, which I respect. You gotta, and that's why it's like, anytime you see some of these statements, especially anytime you see quotes from other players, about other players, especially, or coaches and whatnot, I'm always like, I gotta try my best to try to figure out, like, when is this real? When is this authentic? And when is this just like, yeah, like, what are you gonna say in that moment? It's like, if you hate your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband, and you're being interviewed randomly, and they're like, so how much do you love your wife? What are you going to say? Like, I don't like her at all. Like, I think about getting divorced every single day. I lay in bed and just can't open my eyes, and I just pray, please let this not be my life. Please let this not. And you say, no, I love her. She's so great. We've been together for 15 years, and yeah, it's just awesome. I learned something new every day about her, and it's like, okay, there you go. So you always got to try to find the reality of the moment. And I think this is, without a shadow of doubt, the reality of the moment. And when you compare that to, like, a team like the Dallas Cowboys, like what Colin was kind of comparing a little bit, it's like, are people saying this about Dak Prescott? Like, I don't know. And are people who you really respect their opinion, like a Zach Ertz, who is an absolute just stand up, just the perfect example of what an NFL athlete and person should be? It's like, are they saying that about Dak? Like, I don't know. So, yeah, man, fascinating to me. But what do I know? I've just accurately predicted every single thing correctly with regards to Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. I'm just a Jayden Daniels truth seer. I know. I didn't ask for it. It was just given to me. So, just my job to relay what I've been told by the universe. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.